Very happy. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
I think we'll start the kirtan.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji, you can get relieved, Mataji, if you want. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you can make me the host. And you can make Prabhu the host, Mataji. Prabhu is there.
No, who is going to share the screen?
Rohini Mataji will share, Prabhuji. She'll join, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you want me to share the screen?
Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Nama Sankirtan Ki Jai Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadadi Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakagana Raghunathan Vidam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sakagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामी निधि नामिने नमः। चरपदान्विताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथादामदाय नगरग्रामचारिणे कस्तूरितिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभं नासाग्रे वरमौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणम् सर्वांगे हरिचंदनं सुललितं कंठे च मुक्तावली गोपश्री परिवेष्टितो विजेते गोपाल चूड़ामणि। हरे कृष्णा। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Can we start? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Rohini Mataji, can share the screen, Mataji, if possible.
Yes, I will share.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. With the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we are trying to discuss the third canto, 32nd chapter, verses between 37 to 42. This chapter is a direct instruction to parents by Kapila Dev. And Lord Kapila Dev, when he is instructing, majority of the instructions are to his mother, Devahuti. And coming to this particular chapter, he talks about the devotional service. And when he is talking, he emphasizes the importance of it. And at the same time, he says, this is the only way to get out of this material world full of miseries. And when he talks about it, there are other margas, other paths also, which one can pick up. But these are all cumbersome, which will take a longer time, and there is a doubtfulness to reach the supreme goal. Because when the jiva comes, it has to look for the absolute truth and how to go back to him. So when you look at it, Shastras explains there are various margas, but it recommends highly the devotional service. So as we see in this chapter also, Lord Kapila Dev emphasizes so many points on that. And he emphasizes various varnas and ashramas and what are the things to do and not to do. So in the previous verse also you might have seen, he talks about the penance, charity and whatnot, and what categories what will do. So that means according to the situation, they have to perform it. If you look at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, he says, wherever you are, you start doing the devotional service. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmaji, when he is glorifying the Lord with his stutis, that is 10th canto, 14th chapter, he says, Sthane Sthita. That means, wherever the situation you are, you start doing this. Whether you are a brahmachari, whether you are a grahastha, whether you are a manaprastha, but start doing it immediately. So, here also, in the previous shloka, you might have seen, it describes, because a lot of topics they explains in detail about it. Okay. So coming to today's shloka, let us get into that. Pravocham bhakti yogasya surupam te chaturvidham kalasya chavyakta gatehe yoantardvati yoantardhavati jantushu. Somebody can read the synonyms.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shilpa Mataji, you can call out the devotees Mataji, please.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Vasudha Mataji, you
Thank-
can read the shloka. Prabhuji, do we want to read the purport as well?
Yeah, ma. Always that is a
Okay.
synonyms translation purport.
Hare
Or
Krishna.
I can read it also. You leave it to me that.
Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, you read the shloka. Sudha Mataji, the word meanings, and Prashanti Mataji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pravocam bhakti yogasya swarupam te chaturvidham kalasya chavyakta yo antardhavati jantusu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, synonyms. Pravocham, explained. Bhakti Yogasya, of devotional service. Swarupam, the identity. Te, to you. Chatuvidam, in 4 divisions. Kalasya, of time. Cha, also. Avyaktagate, the moment of which is imperceptible. Ya, which. Antardhavati, chases. Jantushu, the living entities. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Prabhat Ki Jai. My dear mother, I have explained to you the process of devotional service and its identity in 4 different social divisions. I have explained to you as well how eternal time is chasing the living entities, although it is imperceptible to them. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranam.
Purport by his divine guest, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The process of Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is the main river flowing down towards the sea of the absolute truth. And all other processes mentioned are just like tributaries. Lord Kapila is summarizing the importance of the process of devotional service. Bhakti Yoga, as described before, is divided into 4 divisions. 3 are into the modes of material nature, 1 in the transcendence, which is unchanged by the modes of material nature. Devotional service mixed with the modes of material nature is a means for material existence. And whereas devotional service without desire for fruitful results and without attempts for empirical philosophical research is pure transcendental service. So here he had detailedly explained the process of Bhakti Yoga in this chapter beginning. So that's why he is summarizing the whole thing. And what does he say? Bhakti Yoga flows like a river. And what that river is, it is having so much of force, and straight away it is going to go to the sea only. It cannot be stopped. That means the force of it is so much. You can remember there is one verse in the Kuti Stuti also. What does she say? All my thoughts, let it flow. Gange Vaugam Udanvati. What does she say? So let my thoughts flow, go like a Ganga river, because it's unstoppable and its goal is to reach the ocean. Similarly, here also the same situation is explained here. So all other processes are tributaries. Tributaries means it will take time and it has to join the mainstream, which will take a longer time. That's what it is explained here. So as we see here, Bhakti Yoga is divided into 4 initially, and 3 are considered as materialistic or somewhat closely in the material plane. The only one is in the transcendence. When we talk about 3 in the material modes, because in the Brahmacharya, in the Grihasthasrama, or Prastha, the consciousness is mixed with the material things, because we live with family and children. But when we talk about the final one, that as explained in the previous verse, those who are completely renounced, those who are above this material nature. That is mentioned here as the transcendence. And what does it say? Untinged. This is a very important thing, right? As we see in the Bhagavatam also, it says, Ahetiki apratihata. Because in the other pattern, you may stop it and you may revive it. But in case of the fourth order of ashrama, one will not look into any of the material things. So that it is ahaitiki apratihata. It is unstoppable. At the same time, there is no motivation behind it. But in the other three categories, the devotional service may be tinged with the material things because it has got some motivation behind. Clear? So this is what it's explained in this verse. Let's move on to the next one. Jivasya samsriti abhavi avidya karma nirmitaha yasvanga pravishannatma naveda gatim manaha.
Hare Krishna. Chanda Mataji, you can do the shloka. Kripamai Sita Devi Dasi Mataji, you can do the word meaning, and Shanti Mataji, the translation. Prabhu, purport, do you want us to read?
No, I will carry on because
Hare
it's,
Krishna.
I'll explain together.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
जीवस्य संश्रुतिर्भावीर् अविद्या कर्म निर्मिताः यस्वाङ्गा प्रविशन्नात्मा न वेद गतिमात्मनः. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I got initiated in the Vamana Jayanti, Mataji. My name is Kripamai Sita Devi Dasi, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari bol. Congratulations, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, that kindly scroll down, Mataji. I cannot see that word to word meaning.
Padaiho.
I cannot see that word to word meaning.
Rohini Mataji, you need to
Can the others
scroll.
see?
Oh, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji, you didn't
Mataji.
turn to
No,
the next
Mataji, you have to
itself.
scroll
You
down, Mataji.
Ah.
Now it's okay.
Is it visible?
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Now it's visible. Quick.
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji. Now it is visible. Yes, Mataji.
Make it fast.
Jivasya of the living entity. Jivasya, the living of the living entity. Samsrid, causes of the material existence. Bhavit, many. Avidya, in ignorance. Karma, by birth. Nirmitaha, produce. Yasu, into which. Anga, my dear mother. Pravisan, entering. Atma, the living entity. Na, not. Veda, understands. In the moment. Atmanaha, of himself. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji.
Translation Srila
Translation, shall we continue, Mataji?
Srila Prabhupada
Okay,
teaching.
Mataji.
There are varieties of material existence for the living entity according to the work he performs in ignorance or forgetfulness of his real identity. My dear mother, if anyone enters into that forgetfulness, he is unable to understand where his movements will end. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So let us move on to the purport. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Once one enters into the continuation of material existence, it's very difficult to get out. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes himself or sends his bona fide representative and his leaves behind scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the living entities hovering in the darkness of nescience may take advantage of this instruction, the saintly persons and the spiritual masters, and thus be free. Unless the living entity receives this mercy of the saintly persons, the spiritual master Krishna, it is impossible for him to get out of this darkness of the material existence. By his own endeavor, it is impossible or it is not possible. Okay, so now we are going to understand what is the next level. how to perform this devotional service and how to do it continuously. Because as we see here, if someone is coming into the material world, he is bound to get stuck here. Otherwise, we are calling him as conditioned soul or Baddhatma. Because every now and then, he will be attracted by something or other and he will be stuck in this material world. And getting out of it is not possible at all if he makes some efforts on his own. That we can see it. That's why Bhagavatam emphasizes one should have a guru. Even Bhagavad Gita also, Tad Viddhi Pranipatena. So that means guru is a must. Why guru is a must? It's very simple. Because to uplift the conditioned soul, the Lord comes directly many times. And he sends his representative also many times. So in the process, the Lord's desire is to get back all the jiva back to him. So he wants to that happen. But unfortunately, the living entities are not at all focusing because they have their own desires and so many other distractions. And they are not able to recollect or reorganize themselves. So that means this is impossible for them to get out of this existence of material nature. So such a situation, the Lord sends his representative to give out the important scriptures, what he has already done for the humanity to uplift them. This is called Sanatana Dharma. So one has to follow and live according to the Sanatana Dharma instruction. So Bhagavad Gita is one element and Srimad Bhagavatam is the next. So one should be able to understand it with the help of a guru and serve him with politeness. So as we see here, saintly persons and spiritual persons only can feel it. Why? Because they always carry the Lord with them, right? So that's why Bhagavatam also says Bhagavad Gita Bhagavata Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. I think this is coming in the first canto, 18th chapter, verse number 13, I think so, if I remember right. Okay. So what the shloka says, wherever the pure devotees of the Lord go, that becomes a Tirthasthan. Why? Because the devotees always carry the Lord in their heart. How they carry the Lord in the heart? Always they remember him throughout. But a common man, those who are not in Krishna consciousness, cannot understand this. Because he does not know the Lord is residing within himself. And how to uplift himself also he doesn't know. Because he has got no knowledge of the scriptures. So this is a very important thing. And the jiva must take full advantage of it. So that's why when we look at the instructions, a human being should follow three: sadhu, shastra, guru. So one cannot deviate, one has to follow these three. Sadhu means there are so many wonderful saints and sages. Shastra, the scriptures which is available, and the guru, the direct representative of the Lord. So all these three things are very, very important in a human life. But unfortunately, people do not have time to do all these things. So they simply forget it and they keep working like a dogs and hogs. So that coming out of this situation is practically not possible. Clear? Okay, moving on to shloka number 39. Naitat kalayopa dishen navinitaya karhichite na stabdhaya na bhinnaya natva dharma vijaya cha. One more time. Naitat
Hare Krishna.
kalayopa dishen navinitaya karhichit na stabdhaya na bhinnaya naiva dharma vijaya cha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ansuya Mataji, please read the shloka. Anita Mataji, the word meaning, and Krishnamurti Prabhuji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji products. Naitat kalayopadiṣed na vinitaya karhichid na stabdhaya na vinnaya naiva dharma dvajaya cha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Na, not etat, this instruction, kalaya, to the envious, upadishet, one should teach, na, not avinitaya, to the agnostic, karhichet, ever, na, not sabdaya, to the proud, na, not bhinnaya, to the misbehaved, na, not eva, certainly, dharma dvajaya, to the hypocrites, cha, also.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Pranams,
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Pranams Prabhuji.
How are you?
Translation, fine Prabhuji. With your grace, with your directions, I am fine Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Kapila continued, this instruction is not meant for envious, for the agnostics, or for persons who are unclean in their behavior, nor is it for hypocritics, or for persons who are proud of material possessions. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. So now Lord Kapila is going to instruct his mother, Devahuti, to whom we cannot distribute this wonderful knowledge of transcendence. Because if you look at it, this knowledge is highly secret. Why? Because it's a rahasya. And those who are interested only can get it. It's very simple. So as we see here, in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says these are the very, very important knowledge, and they are called as also king of knowledge, and at the same time it's highly confidential also. See, when there is a confidential matter in a company or a corporate, what they do, they discuss only in the high level, like the director, chairman, managing director. So that is the topmost level. Then it comes down slightly the next level. So after that, it never goes down further. That means there are two levels with which only this type of situations can be done. So when it comes down and down, then they take their confidence, then they reveal this secret decisions, right? So here also, in the spiritual platform also, we have to understand the scriptures are given, and the scriptures cannot be easily understood, and they require someone. So as we see here, the previous verse also we were telling to serve him submissively. But the list of persons which is given in this shloka and the next shloka also is very clear. These persons cannot serve submissively the Guru, and they cannot accept another person who is none other than the representative of the Lord. He cannot make out he is a Guru and he is a representative of God. And what he thinks, oh, he is like a man, like that only he will think. For such categories, it cannot be revealed. That's why here, Lord Kapila is talking about 5 persons or 5 type of persons who cannot be approached to this, or to whom we cannot reach. See, as we see here, straight away we will take to the Bhagavad Gita shloka, wherein Krishna says this is not possible for them. What is that? Let us see. Shloka number 67, chapter number 18. Hare Krishna. 18th chapter, 67th shloka. Idam te na tapaskaya. Right? Na bhaktaya kadachana na cha sushusha ve vachyam achamam yo abhyasuyati. Abhyasuyati means asuyai. Asuyai means what? Envy. So that's why Krishna, when he talks about this, the translation goes like this. This confidential knowledge may never be, what is that it's mentioned? Never be explained to those who are not austere. Same thing is in the verse number what we are looking into also. Those who are unclean in their behavior. Then what does it say? And are not devoted. Those who are not devoted also cannot be given. And what is the next one? Those who are engaged in, not engaged in devotion service, right? So they don't have a devotion and they don't do any devotion service. Both are not there. Devotion is bhakti, devotion service is service in the mood of bhakti. Okay? Bhakti sevana. Not one who is envious of me. So those who are envious of the Lord cannot be given. So the Lord is very clear in his statement. So here also Lord Kapila Dev explains the same thing. There is not much difference if you look at the translation. What does he say here? This instruction is not meant for envious. Susrusha, because Asuya is there, they cannot be eligible to get this, right? Otherwise, it's written here, Kalaya. Kalaya is also the same meaning, envious. Then it talks about agnostic. Agnostic means those who have their own vinita, because they don't have any submissiveness and they are always egoistic agnostics. And for a person who are unclean in their behavior, finish. So, Saucham is a very important, very crucial anga in the devotional service. That's why Achar Prachar, Vichar, right? When we say that, we have to maintain the acharams. Acharam means the norms to be very clean. There cannot be any concession on that. See, for instance, when you go out and come inside the house, you have to definitely wash your legs. There cannot be any concession on that. So, like this, behavior should be very clean. That's very important. Otherwise, this knowledge cannot be given to them. Right? Then what does the Lord says? Nor is it for hypocrites. Where is hypocrites boast themselves and they behave very funnily with this type of things. They used to give sarcastic remarks, they used to give some chiding remarks. All these things, what happens? They insult or sometimes they neglect and ignore the essence of the Shastras. So this type of confidential knowledge cannot be given to hypocrites. And for persons who are proud of material possession, this is another one. See, I'll tell you, not that all wealthy persons are highly materialistic. There are wealthy persons, but they are unattached to that also. Because it depends upon how they get it. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Suchinam Srimatam Geve. Those who have done some little devotional service, I give them an opportunity to be born in a rich family or in an intelligent family, all these things. So that means if the wealth has come in this way, automatically such a person will utilize the wealth in the service of the Lord. But he will be never proud of it because he knows Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. So everything that is available on the material creation belongs to him. So he will not be proud of it. But whereas a person who has made money short duration and with all crooked means, such persons will be proud of it. So these are the things which we have to understand. For a person who is always full of pride, oh, I possess this much, I am richer than him, I am richer than that fellow, I am much more richer than anybody else. Oh, all these things. So such a person cannot. Why? Because he is fully materialistic person. He cannot accept philosophy. Why? Because he wants to enjoy the material possessions only, and he thinks himself wrongly as if he is the Swami or he is the controller. Right? But whereas a person who possesses wealth with the knowledge of the Supreme Lord, he will always utilize that in the service of the Lord. Clear? So that means the 5 categories cannot be given this knowledge. Let's move on to the next one. Na lolupayo padi sen na grahurudha sorry na grahurudha chetase na bhaktaya cha me jatu na matbhakta disham mapi. I'll read once again. Nalo Lupayo padishen na grahurudha chetase na bhaktaya cha me jatu na madbhakta dishamapi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji, you read the shloka, Shobha Mataji, the word meaning, and Sharmila Mataji, the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhu. Na lolupaya badishe, na griharuda chetase, na bhaktaya cha me jatu, na madbhakta dvishamapi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Na, not, lalupaya, to the greedy, upadeshet, one should instruct, na, not, graha arudha chetasa, to one who is too attached to the family life, na, not, abhayaktaya, to the non-devotee, cha, and me of me, jatu, ever, na, not, mat, my, bhakta devotees, Dvisham, to those who are envious of Api also. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Translation. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is not to be instructed to persons who are too greedy and too attached to family life, not to persons who are non-devotees and who are envious of the devotees and of the personality of Godhead. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So coming to this verse, what does it say? Let's see it. In this verse, purport goes like this. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible to understand Krishna consciousness and cannot enter into the realm of transcendental loving service to the Lord. That means, what does it say exactly? Those who always try to harm other living entities. What is that rule in the Krishna consciousness, the 4 regulatory principles? What are the regulatory principles?
No meeting, no intoxication, no
Ahimsa,
meeting, no illicit sex, and no
Yeah,
gambling.
only no meeting.
No
Only
gambling.
no meeting. Okay. So that means those who are eating meat, they cannot get the Krishna consciousness easily. Okay. Then coming back to that, in the Bhagavad Gita also, there is one chapter number 13. In that shloka number 8 to 12 or something like that. Amanitvam, adhambitvam, ahimsa. What is the word? Ahimsa. So here also same thing comes. So that means that sort of person cannot get this. Cannot get this means they will be struggling to get it. But there are exceptions who can get it. As we see here, there were so many Westerners, they were really harming all the other living entities. But by the mercy of a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, they got it. Clear? So this is an exceptional case. So coming back to the next line, there are so-called disciples who become submissively to a spiritual master most artificially. This is a very important show off. Nowadays it's very much there. This is a very dangerous situation because Kali, even when they come into the Krishna consciousness, they try to show that rich and pomp. This is a not way. That's why it is said this showing of artificially submissiveness is very bad. And what is it written there? With an ulterior motive. This is another very strong message. See, their motive is something behind. What are that? There can be a number of motives. To become very popular, to expand their business empire. This is very important because certain businessmen, they come into this con and try to explore the business possibility. This is also a wrong thing. But if they are trapped into Krishna consciousness, something very unique. Right? But that's why Prabhupada says artificially they may do all these things. So for that person also it cannot be given. Then as we see here further, they also cannot understand when Krishna consciousness or devotional service is what devotional service. Persons who, due to their being initiated by other sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as a common platform for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also cannot understand Krishna consciousness. See, for instance, to some reason or other, they get an initiation in the other panth, other marga, okay? And after getting the position of a disciple, they become a so-called disciple. And they do not take it up seriously. And such a person, when they try to get into Krishna consciousness also, they cannot also do the same thing. Because the faith is a very strong, important thing, right? And they should not play around like that. That's why when such a person comes to Krishna consciousness, he cannot be able to do this. That's why it is mentioned, being initiated by another sect of religious faith, do not find devotional service as a common platform. Already in that itself, he does not see the devotional service as the main platform. And especially when it comes to Krishna consciousness, it is purely based on devotional platform. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended only devotional service, the means for going back to Godhead. So, those who are really approaching this, they will be able to get this. So this is what it is explained, such a person cannot be. We have experienced that some students can come to join us, but because of the biased mind in some particular type of faith, they leave our camp and become lost in the wilderness. Very simple. We call it as bloop. Bloop means when you throw a stone into the water, it makes a noise like bloop and it goes down at the bottom of the water. Right? So they cannot float. This is what happens, such as so-called disciples. When they get into that, they cannot withstand and finally they drop out. Because Krishna consciousness is something very serious and everyone has to be very serious about that and they have to maintain so many austerities. But when we talk about austerities, nowadays people are not at all ready for it. They want to get out of it. The reason is they want to enjoy. The push from the sense organs are so high, they are not able to control it. They are not able to make it submissive, or they are not able to dovetail, right? So as we see here also, it is mentioned such a person cannot understand Krishna consciousness. They join, but they drop out from the camp. Okay, but because of their being biased, they drop out. Reason is they are not happy with that because their mind is not suitable for this Krishna consciousness. So such a person cannot stay on. Okay, actually, Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious faith. This is a very important thing because in earlier days, when Prabhupada spread the message, many Westerners were completely criticizing Islam as a cult. This is a wrong notion. So cult means wherein the philosophy or the faith is completely trusted upon someone. But here we don't do that. We allow them to think, we allow them to understand, we allow them to put it in practice. So there is no such cult in this. But people cannot understand it. What that Krishna consciousness is telling, they have prioritize your day-to-day activities and keep Krishna in the front. This is what we see. Okay. So such a person cannot get into this again. So as we see here, actually Krishna consciousness is not a sectarian religious faith. It is a teaching process for understanding Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him. So that means the relation which was lost is revived here. Okay, as we move on further here, it is a teaching process for understanding the Supreme Lord and our relationship with Him. Anyone can join this movement without prejudice. This is a very important line. So anyone can get into the Krishna consciousness. But what is more important, they should not have any pride and prejudice. If both are there, they cannot withstand. Okay, but unfortunately, there are persons who feel differently. So this is also a wrong comment which are going on before at that time. Okay, moving on to the next paragraph, Prabhupada explains, generally materialistic persons are after some name, fame and material gain. And so if someone takes the Krishna consciousness for these reasons, he will never be able to understand the philosophy. Very clear, crystal clear. That's what I said in the previous statement also. Many people try to fish out some business opportunity, some material gains. Such persons cannot withstand. So there are certain people, oh, I will become very popular and I will get more business. These are all the wrong things. So such things do not find a place in Krishna consciousness. They have to be very cautious. Okay, because ours is a clean, perfect devotional service path. Okay, as we move on, such a person take the religious principles as a social declaration. And a social declaration. In the society, he shows off, oh, I am a very pious person. I am a God person. So they admit themselves in some cultural institution for the sake of name only. Correct? There are so many now, right? this Baba, that Baba, I don't want to mention name, and they go and post themselves with him and say, I am a very pious person. There were some cricketers also, I don't want to mention again. So these are the fake. These are the dubious. And how they can understand the philosophy? Just for namesake, famesake, they cannot understand it. Then it says, superficially, such persons are not very greedy for material possessions, but they are also too much attached to wife, children, and family improvement. The next category is superficially. Superficially means imagine. It's not real. Okay. There are such people who show themselves to the world, I am not attached to my wife and children. That means there are bogus sannyasis. This is what Prabhupada is trying to attack here. Because there are so many fake sannyasis, so-called sannyasis, pretenders. And not only pretenders, they fool the public also. So many fall prey to that. Right? This we have seen. This type of persons also cannot get into Krishna consciousness. Because our system is very simple. Surrender to the Lord after understanding the philosophy and applying a life. So you cannot while away the time. In Krishna consciousness, this is a very active moment. But people say, oh, it's very dull, monotonous, because they do not have any knowledge about the devotional service. So that means here devotional service is a very active one, wherein we do not waste the time at all. Either we keep on chanting, or we are reading the Bhagavatam or discussing Bhagavatam. So 24/7 we are connected. Clear? So as we see here, it's also mentioned, but they are too attached to wife, children, and family improvement. So they superficially do it, but internally they are very attached to that point, firmly into their wife and children, everything. When a person is not contaminated by the above mentioned faults, yet at the time, at the ultimate issue is not interested in the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a last category wherein he says, such a person's, what do they do? Ultimate issue is not interested in the service of the Lord. So that also is not possible. Because when they do so many superficial things, when it comes to serve the Lord, it is not possible for them. But there are some clean persons, right? They are not affected by the above mentioned contamination, but their attitude to serve the Lord is not there. Here, Prabhupada is chastising someone. Who can say that? Which category he is talking about?
The Mayavadis, because
Mayavadis.
Oh, can you make it more clear? Very good.
because they
Smartas.
don't consider the
Smartas.
personal form of the Lord.
Certain smartas are like that. Though they are knowledgeable, they have knowledge about everything, but unfortunately they cannot get it there because they are not ready to serve the Lord. Their attitude is different. That's why Prabhupada is condemning them, right? Or if he is non-devotee, he also cannot understand philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So that means one should have intelligence enough, one should have the submissive enough, all this enough. Then only they can get the Krishna consciousness. So let us take some wonderful example how people are so attached to the wife, children, wealth, everything, and how they spend the time. I was telling Krishna consciousness is a very active one, but people are materially active. How they are? Nidraya hriyate naktam yavayena cha vavayaha divachartaya ihaya rajan kutumba bharanena va. So the translation goes like this: the lifetime of such an envious household, Grihamedi. We were talking about Grihamedi. Anybody remembers the sloka Grihamedi? Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nulam Santi Sahasrasa Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedina. So that is what here Sukadeva Goswami is condemning such person. What does he say here? The lifetime of such an envious household. Grihamedi means who is envious in household, right? You remember it. Grihamedi means one who is envious in the Grihasthasana. So he is not coming under the Grihasthala, he comes under the Grihamedi. That means he is envious of others always. So that's why translation goes like the lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or sex indulgence, and the daytime it is always either in making money or maintaining family person. So that means such a person cannot perform it because they are always into a materialistic way of life and they do not find time to get into the God consciousness. And how they do that? Daytime fully they work hard like hogs and dogs and make money and improve their bank balance. And finally, what do? In the night time, they go to sleep. They always become lazy or they involve in sex indulgence. So their lifetime is completely eradicated. That's why this further shloka also says, Ayur Harati by Kutsam. For such a person, it reduces. What reduces? Ustan Udyanastam Chayanaso. Every sunrise and the sunset brings down their lifetime. But for a devotee, it is not. Because they utilize the time in the service of the Lord. Clear? So, moving on to next one. Actually, there are wonderful explanations which is available. Due to time shortage, I am trying to rush through that. Oh, I have got only 15 minutes. I have to cover 3 shlokas. Shraddhadanaya, Bhaktaya, Vinitaya, Anasuyave. Vinitaya, Anasuyave. You can read it or you can read it together also. How? Vinitaya, Anasuyave. Bhuteshu, Krita Maitraya, Susrushibi, Rataya, Cha. Somebody can read it?
Padma Mataji, you can read the shloka. Sarika Mataji, the translation, and Vasudha Mataji, you can, Sarika Mataji, word meaning, and Vasudha Mataji, translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shraddhadanaya Bhaktaya Vinitaya Nasuyave Bhutesu Krita Maitraya Shushrusabhirataya Cha. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shraddhanaya, faithful.
Mataji, Shraddhadanaya.
Shraddhadanaya,
Perfect.
faithful. Bhaktaya, to the devotee. Vinitaya, respectful. Anusuyave, non-envious.
Mataji, Anasuyave.
Anasuyave,
Perfect.
non-envious. Bhuteshu, to all living entities. Krita Maitraya, friendly. Shushrusha, faithful service. Abhirataya, eager to render. Cha, and. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Instruction should be given to the faithful devotee who is respectful to the spiritual master, non-envious, friendly to all kinds of living entities, and eager to render service with faith and sincerity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See, in this verse, the phrase is very, very important. What is that? Sushrushabhi Rataya. What does it say? Faithful service. Abhirataya. What is it? Eager to return. So when these two things are there, the Lord is instantly comes and sits in our heart. Where is that? In the Bhagavatam. When we get into the 112. What is that? 112. Dharmaha projita kaitavo atra paramo. Somebody can chant it? Quick.
Hare Krishna. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmalsaranam sada vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tabatrayon Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krude Kimva Parairishvara Sadhyo Hritya Varudhyade Prakriti Bhi Sastoshavit Pakshanat.
Archana Mataji, wonderful. Very nice. So let us get into the translation wherein it says, what does it say? Let us get into the last portion of it. What is the need of any other scriptures? Okay, let us not get into that. The next sentence is, as soon as one attentively and submissively, what is the word? Attentively and submissively hears the knowledge or the message of Bhagavatam, by the culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is instantly established within his heart. That means he should have the culture. What type of culture? This is what explained here. In this chapter, what we are looking at, the culture means, what does it say here? Two things. Faithful service. Second thing is eager to render service. Both are going hand in hand. Otherwise, if one is there, other is not there, then it is waste. Right? That means faithful service should be there, and the eagerness to serve them also important. So automatically, takshana means that moment itself, the Lord comes and sits in your heart. Whether you invite him or not, he comes on his own. Why? Because you have done the service, and you have done the service with faith and with eagerness. Okay. So, for instance, let us take some material examples in this connection, right? If you join a company, the interview goes on, and he talks about so many things. He talks about the integrity, this and that, and you are moved to work for the company. So, when these two things are there, when you are faithful, that is integrity, and when you have the eagerness to serve the company, these two are there, your position is confirmed. So, this is only a material example, but spiritually, one should always eager to serve, and the service should be faithful service. Reckless cannot be done, careless cannot be done. So, in these two next verses, that is 41, 42, 43, whatever it is, here, 41 and 42 only, he describes who are all eligible to get it. The previous two shlokas, what we are looking at, those who are not eligible to get it. These two are who are eligible to get this, and who are they? Let us see. Okay. Instruction should be given to the faithful devotee. See, when we talk about faithful devotee, I tell you, generally, the women folk quickly have the faith in the Lord and accept service. If you look at the count, even Prabhupada also mentioned in the lectures or in the satsang, you can see always the number of women folk is more. To take a good example, even in our class right now, we can check it. Any one of the Mataji can check it quickly. Out of 44 or 45 devotees, how many are women folk? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, almost 95%.
You make it 90 there also.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I think 3 or 4 Prabhujis are there in the forum.
So,
Hare
why I
Krishna.
said this, though Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, many women folk feel very, very done. Why? Because Krishna says, what is that? Sri, Vaishya, Shudra, Sri, okay, what is that? I forgot that. Shriyo Vaishya Tata Sudra. Shriyo Vaishya Tata Sudra. So they are all not intelligent enough, like that it says, right? But one should not feel that they are all faithful devotees. Okay, so you are all faithful devotees. You are getting it quickly, and this should be given to such persons. That's what Krishna says, Lord Kapila says. Okay, and what does it say? Who is respectful to the spiritual master? This is the next level. Wonderful. See, I tell you, the Lord goes everything in the order of life. Krama. That means it is a must. So everything is explained in a sequence, not like a zigzag. What is more important? First faith. Then only one can serve the Lord or the Guru respectfully, right? Otherwise, it will be careless. In this regard, there are 2-3 shlokas. We are going to get into that. Who is Guru and how Guru has to be, and how the Guru should be considered. So, okay, getting into that. So, what does he say here? Should be given to the faithful one, and who is respectful to the spiritual master, and non-envious of the spiritual master, and friendly to all living entities, and finally eager to render service with faith and sincerity. Classic. So all these qualities we should possess. That's why I said when we look into that amanitva, adambitva, ahimsa, shantirarjavam, acharyopasanam, like that it goes on. Please go through the 2 shlokas, if I remember 2 or 3 shlokas. It explains around 26 qualities, which is a must. So here, Lord Kapila Dev is picking out a major important things and he is pointing out here. Okay. So friendly to all living entities. This is a very important thing. Daya. Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what does he say now? We have to be, Vaishnava means para tukha dukhi. But unfortunately, now the material world is full of selfishness. If somebody is attacked by 2, they all watch and take a video and put it on YouTube. This is a pathetic condition. Okay, so moving on to that, the rendering service with faith and sincerity is the topmost in the cream of this. Okay, so one should do all these things with faithfulness. Let's move on to the next shloka. 42. In this connection, I wanted to say something. I have jumped immediately. Okay, let me finish this, then I'll get to that other shloka. Okay. 42. Bahirjata viragaya shanta chittaya diyatam nirmatsaraya shuchaye yasyaham preyasam priyaha bahirjata viragaya shanta chittaya diyatam. See the word shanta chittaya. That means their mind is always very cool and calm. Diyatam nirmatsaraya. Nirmatsaraya means there is no contamination. Okay. Nirmatsaraya suchaye yasyaham preyasam priyaha. Hare Krishna, start.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I'll only do it. Vasudha Mataji, you can do the translation. I'll do the shloka and the meaning. Bahirjata viragaya shantachittaya diryatam nirmatsaraya shuchaye yasyaham preyasam priyaha. Bahi, for what is outside, jata viragaya, to him who has developed detachment, shanta chitta, whose mind is peaceful, diyatam, let this be instructed, nirmatsaraya, non-envious, suchaye, perfectly cleansed, yasya, of whom, aham, I, preyasam, of all that is very dear, priyaha, the most dear. Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, translation, please.
Hare Krishna, translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This instruction should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be more dear than anything, who are not envious of anyone, who are perfectly cleansed, and who have developed detachment for that which is outside the purview of Krishna consciousness.
Oh, super, super. Detachment on what is that? Outside the purview. Because when you see something, when you see some act, you have to look at it Krishna consciousness perspective. This is what here Prabhupada says. So anything you look at it, for instance, here, thing to buy or a service to do, anything of these things, you have to look at it from the Krishna conscious perspective. Okay, get into that. Let's get into the translation. Also, the purport is let's get to it. In the beginning, no one can be elevated to the highest stage of devotional service. Here, bhakta means one who does not hesitate to accept the reformatory process for becoming bhakta. See, before getting into the Krishna consciousness, what was our status? What was our level of activity? What was our level of thinking? You look at it, do analysis. After getting into Krishna consciousness, a few years later, just to go through and make another wonderful statement. Do a comparison, right? Put it in a tarasu or a balance. You find out where it goes good. This is what is explained here. In the beginning, it may be slow. It is not easy. Because why? Because it talks about so many regulatory process and it talks about the so many penances and whatnot. So that's why Prabhupada says it takes time. One should have the mentality or mood to become a bhakta. In order to become a devotee of the Lord, one has to accept the spiritual master, inquire from him about how to progress in Krishna, how to progress in devotional service. This is a very important thing. So super. So see what happens. How the Vinitaya, we saw that previous verses, Vinitaya, you repeated it. Why? Vinamrita. Vinamrita means submissiveness. If it is not there, it is impossible. That's why one should take up the first step is to remove all our egos. Accept, then only they can become a bhakta. Right? How to accept? Accept a guru. And how to do submissiveness? To serve him, render service with faith and sincerity. Clear? So moving on to that, to serve a devotee, to chant the holy name according to the certain counting method, to worship the deity, to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, or Bhagavad Gita from a realized person and to live in a sacred place where devotional service is not disturbed are the first out of 64 activities for making progress in devotional service. That means there are 5 important angas in the devotional service. What are they? Very first is Nama Japa. Then what happens? The next one is Dhamavasa, or you can Mathuravas, you can call it as, okay. Then Bhagavata Patana. Then it talks about the Satsanga. Then it talks about, what is the next one? Archa Vigraha Upasana. These are the 5 important angas in the devotional service. Then only one can become a devotee. No, Prabhu, I cannot keep the deities, I cannot do Abhishek, I cannot offer every day. Then you cannot become a bhakta. Very simple. So like this it goes on each and everything. Right? Oh, it is Vrindavan, it is Mathura, it is going to be Udupi. Oh, I cannot live, it's a village, I cannot live. Then you cannot become a bhakta. Right? So you must be ready to accept to do the penance. Austere life. Austere life means very clean and what not. Regulatory principles. So these are the symptoms of a devotee. One has to be accept the 5 executive called as a devotee. Okay, move on. Oh, it's very lengthy. Huh? Oh, so lengthy. Okay, I will read it. Huh? Whatever possible, I will just explain. If I take another 10 minutes, is it okay for all of you? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, it is okay.
There is
Yes.
no next session, right? After that? Immediately?
Sorry?
Immediately, there is no session immediately after our
11 o'clock we have one, Prabhu.
Okay, I will try to finish it in next
Hari.
10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Yes,
One must be prepared to offer necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. This is where we are getting 2 shlokas from the Bhagavatam. What does it say? Acharyam mam vijhaniyam avamanyeta karvichit namarthya buddhaya asuyeta sarvadeva mayo guruhu. This is 11, 17, 27. You can make a note of it. It's a very important shloka. Very often it is always quoted on a Vyas Puja day. One should know the Acharya as myself. Who says that? Krishna says to Uddhava. This comes under the Uddhava Gita in the Bhagavatam 11, 17, 27. Okay. And never disrespect him in any way. Avamanyeta. But common man, they don't understand. Oh, he's a normal person, push him down. Like that they talk, right? But a disciple, what he has to do? He has to carry on his shoulder. Right? Then what does it say? One should not envy him. Oh, this is too much. Because sometime back, I remember in one of the interviews, right? One of the reporter asked Prabhupada, why you are going on flights and Mercedes cars, all these things. And interestingly, Prabhupada gave a wonderful explanation or answer to this reporter. You are doing sins and all nefarious activity, and you are doing so many sinful activities at a jet speed. Unless I take a plane or I take a BMW, I cannot catch you and correct you. Understood? So this is Prabhupada's type. Because this type of non-envious people, they try to find fault unnecessarily without reason, and they do not have any brains. So such a person will always talk envious of the guru. And what they think of him, he is now only a normal person. What is that? He is a Martyaha. Martyaha means he is a normal human being, like that they think, unfortunately. Then, for he is the representative of the all devatas. For 33 crores devatas, we cannot go and approach each and everyone. The Lord has made it, the formula very simple. Take spiritual master who is a pure devotee of. Okay, that's it. So, moving on to that, this shloka can be extended to so many things. So interesting it is. There's one more shloka also, if somebody can quote about it. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyete, like that it starts. If somebody can pick it up, can read that also. So I am in the second paragraph, right? Please remind me. Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji, second paragraph. One must be prepared there.
Can anybody read it? It's better. I will.
One must be prepared to offer the necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. He should not be envious of his god brothers. Rather, if a god brother is more enlightened and advanced in Krishna consciousness, one should accept him as almost equal to the spiritual master, and one should be happy to see such god brothers advance in Krishna consciousness. A devotee should always be very kind to the general public in instructing Krishna consciousness, because that is the only solution for getting out of the clutches of Maya. This is really humanitarian work, for it is a way to show mercy to other people who need it very badly. The word Shushrushabhirataya indicates a person. Sorry, Prabhuji, was I wrong?
Sushrushabhi Rataya.
Sorry, Shushrushabha.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
Mataji.
Prabhuji, Kali Yuga tongue, sorry. Indicates a
Sushrushabhi Rataya.
Shushrushabhirataya indicates a person who faithfully engages in serving the spiritual master. One should give personal service and all kinds of comforts to the spiritual master. A devotee who does not so is also a bona fide candidate for taking this instruction. The word bahir jata viragaya means a person who has developed detachment from external and internal material propensities. Not only is he detached from activities which are not connected to Krishna consciousness, but he should be internally averse to the material way of life. Such a person must be non-envious and should think of the welfare of all living entities, not only of the human beings, but living entities other than human beings. The word Shauchaya means one who is cleansed both externally and internally. To become actually cleansed externally and internally, one should chant the holy name of the Lord Hare Krishna or Vishnu constantly. The word Diyatam means that knowledge of Krishna consciousness should be offered by the spiritual master. The spiritual master must not accept a disciple who is not qualified. He should not be professional and should not accept disciples for monetary gains. The bona fide spiritual master must see the bona fide qualities of a person whom he is going to initiate. An unworthy person should not be initiated. The spiritual master should train his disciple in such a way so that in the future only the Supreme Personality of Godhead will be the dearmost goal of his life. In these two verses, the qualities of a devotee are fully explained. One who has actually developed all the qualities listed in these verses is already elevated to the post of a devotee. If one has not developed all these qualities, he still has to fulfill these conditions in order to become a perfect devotee. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for reading quickly. Okay, so there are a few points I will quickly complete. See, when we develop all these qualities in full, then only we can claim we are a devotee. But unfortunately, many in ISKCON try to talk about others as non-devotee. So this is a harmful situation. So it is better to tell them outside ISKCON like that. It's instead of telling them non-devotee. Clear? So here, when we try to become a devotee or when we claim to be a devotee, we have to have all these qualities. That's why when we talk about the 10 offenses also, what does it say? Those who want to claim as a Vaishnava, they should guard against the 10 offenses. Right? So here also, the previous paragraph, it talks about the devotee care. Devotee care is a must. Devotee care is the top most priority because Prabhupada says those who are faithful, those who are sincere, give them the most care. That's very important for them to grow in Krishna consciousness. So this is what Prabhupada explained in the previous paragraph. And coming to the next paragraph, the Guru has to be very cautious while giving the Diksha. So it should not be motivated with personal things and professional things. It should be based on the worthiness, whether it's really fit for that. Clear? So let us get into the last block. I don't want to further delay. Already 10 minutes. Conceive or Yaidham Shuniyat Amba Shraddhaya Purusha Sakriti Yo Vividat Yo Vabi Datte Machittaha Sahyeti Padavim Chame. One more time. Yaidham Shuniyat Amba. Yaidham Shuniyat Amba. So Amba means his mother. He's addressing his mother. Yaidham Shuniyat. In this way, you have heard. Shraddhaya Purushat Sakriti. With lots of dedication. Shraddhaya Sukarve. Okay. Yo bhabi datte machitta sahyeti padavim chame. Somebody can read. Quick.
Hare Krishna. Ya idam shrinuya damba shraddhaya purushah sukrita yo vabhi dhatte machittah sayoti pada vimchame. Ya he who idam this shrinuyat may hear Amba, O mother, shraddhaya with faith, purushah a person, sakrit once, yah he who, va or Abhidatte repeats, Mat chitta, his mind fixed on me, Saha he, Hai certainly, Iti attains Padavim abode, Cha and me, my. Prashanti Mataji, you can read the translation, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Tanvat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone who once meditates upon me with faith and affection, who hears and chants about me, surely goes back home, back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mataji, purport also read it.
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, 32nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So this shloka is called as what? Palashruti. What is it? Palashruti. Anyone who once meditate upon me, once, what does he say? Once only. That will take them the long way. But how that once should be? With faith, affection. The quality of once is explained here. And what does he say? Who hears and chants about me surely goes back home, back to Godhead. Who is giving this assurance? Lord Kapiladev to Mother Devahuti. So that means when we take up the devotional service, two things are very important, very, very important. What is that? One is the faith, next is the affection towards the Lord. And shower mercy to others to bring them to Krishna consciousness. So as we see here, the entire today's shlokas summary, we can consider like this. It first talks about previously whatever Lord Kapil Dev described to his mother Devahuti, he is summarizing in the verse. And what does he say? The four categories are the four order of life, how they have to maintain it, right? Bhakti Yoga is like that. And what is more important is they have to completely focus on the Lord. And the thought flow should be going towards the Lord only, not anything else. Then it talks about the persons who are eligible to enter the Lord's abode. What are that? There are so many reasons it is explained, and otherwise they cannot enter into the devotional service because he cannot understand that. Then the Lord talks about do not describe or distribute this secret or the confidential knowledge to 10 type of persons. In the one shloka he talks about 5, then another shloka he talks about the 5. Then coming to the next two shlokas, 41, 42, he describes the qualities of a devotee and who are eligible to get this knowledge. And who has to give it? A pure devotee of the Lord, who is none other than the spiritual master. Finally, he summarizes with a Falashruti, those who have listened, those who have faithfully heard it and chant once the Lord's name, they are assured of going back to Godhead. It says rightful claim. What is that rightful claim? When you talk about insurance terms and conditions, it says rightful claim. Same way, here Kapila Dev gives a rightful claim to such a devotee if they meditate upon once and chant his name with faith. Hare Krishna. Now we'll get into the question answers. Already I have taken 15 minutes more. If you are all ready for with one or two questions, we can take it up.
Devotees, whoever has questions, please raise your hand so that Prabhuji we
Comments
can take
also.
your question.
Comments also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
What did you say, Prabhu?
No, any comments also, most welcome.
Yes. Padma Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very short question.
Yeah.
Mayavadis and impersonalists, they both don't believe in the form of Lord, no?
Sorry?
Mayavadis
Yeah.
and impersonalists. They
Yeah.
both they don't believe in Lord's form, right?
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, Mayavadis, impersonalists are both in the same categories. Because what happens, no, they have knowledge and they try to explore things and understand the Lord. This is a wrong notion. That's why you call us Mayavadi. Impersonalists means those who think the Lord is not having a form. And they come to conclusions on their own imaginations. Empirical. What is it? Empirical knowledge means what? Whatever they try, oh, this is not that, that is not that. So they keep on rejecting things and come to conclusions with their own knowledge. They do not believe in Shastras. So they are called as empirical people. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Welcome.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, my question is, we are rendering japa, everything, japa, hearing classes, and as per as my knowledge goes, as per the directions of the class in the scriptures, we are doing all these things. Even though if we come into the contact of this materialistic people, so the seed of that materialistic mind, what they have got, it will be inserted in our hearts. So how it is to be, how we have to fence it?
Okay, good.
Not to entertain in our hearts.
Very good question. I tell you. See, we read from the Sikshatakam. What is that? Trinatapi Sunichena Karodapi Sahisna. And for a person who is in Krishna consciousness and who is doing devotional service, if somebody is insulting, what you have to do is some fly comes and sits on your face, right? What do you do? Like that you do. Am I right or not?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Same way. You should not take it to your heart. Then you will be affected more.
Yes, Prabhuji.
At the same time, we have to respect others also. That's what Amanina Manadhena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So you have to respect others, do not expect respect. This is a tough situation. It comes as days or years passes by. Then you are coming to the maturity level. Pakwa Nilai. What is it called? Pakwa.
Okay.
Clear. But it is really tough. I'll tell you honestly speaking, right? I am coming across different type of purpose. Let me be honest also. Because when we are looking a suitable daughter-in-law for my son, we are coming across different level of people. So people talk about Krishna consciousness, why you are following, what is that, all these things. Certain people talk criticizing also. But all that we have to is take it in the lighter spirit. Don't take it in the heart. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So anything is, we have to fence it. Otherwise, it will overcome in our hearts. So to that extent, we must be.
See what happens, bro? If you take it to your heart and mind, what happens? It disturbs your mind. If it disturbs your mind, your health is affected.
We do agree, Prabhuji. Yes, even yesterday also I came to know the fact. That's why I'm asking the same question. This is the live question what I have heard and from this my relative.
Krishnamurti Prabhu, I'll tell you one thing. We are in a circle of devotees. When we go out of this, we come across different type of people.
Prabhuji.
All these type of people, they talk so many things, hurting way, completely insulting. All these things quite happen, but we should not give weight to that. Okay?
Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Okay. So we will follow it, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can I ask a question? We have only 5 minutes. Prabhuji, in the shloka number 48, the purport, it is written that persons who are always planning to do harm to other living entities are not eligible for Krishna consciousness. So here, prima facie, we understand the physical harm always, but it also covers all the other harms that we do.
It's both. Just now Krishnamurti Prabhu asked, this is also another way of harming, right? But nowadays, Mataji, I'll tell you one quick question, a good example. After coming into the medias, after coming into these gadgets, people started attacking others mentally so much. They impose or completely push them down. They throw all trash on them. This is also another type of himsa. It is not only physical himsa, it also by verbal himsa. Clear? So when we talk about physical himsa, we can talk about the killing of animals. And when we talk about the verbal himsa, we can talk about the human being, how they talk so rubbish. Just what Krishnamurti Prabhu was telling, right? There are so many people, they never bother about others' feelings. Because when they are hurt, they are terribly disturbed. They try to pass it on. This is it. So ultimately, they accumulate karma. They have come here to dispose of the karma, but unfortunately, like increasing the bank balance, they are increasing their karma. Am I right or not?
So Prabhuji, how I also understand it is Vacho Vega and that shlokas then nectar of instruction is when you over it also, it is a hinsa that you're doing to your body.
Yeah,
Along with
also himsa,
jealousy and
another way
subtle
of
things.
himsa. That's why in the Prahalad instructions, he says 764 shloka number, if I remember right, Tat prayasana kartavyo. Do not over endeavor, do not disturb your body. Right? Whether you do it physically to increase your income or you do something to enjoy the sense organs, that's also wrong. Clear? That's also a himsa.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because the body is given for serving the Lord, not for over endeavors in the material side. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
So go through that verse, it is very interesting. Tat prayasana kartavyo. That's the beginning.
Could you please
And it is
repeat the number of
764,
the
I think
shlok?
so. Number, I think so, 764. Tat prayasana kartavyo.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, there are no more questions from devotees.
The sloka is from Bhagavad Gita, Mataji?
No, the Bhagavatam. 7.6.4.
I think so.
Is what Prabhuji said.
Okay. Fortunately, my mercy of Guru and Krishna, I remember the numbers too. Hare Krishna.
Sadhana works, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your association.
Hare Krishna.
Could I end the session with prayers?
Yeah. Thank you, Ma.
Vancha kalpitarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pranam Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna to all devotees.
Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Let's all chant one time. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you will have to end the session.